Welcome back. This is the Premier Mindset by Premier Performance LLC. I'm your host, Trent Mahler, LCSW, and this is episode 9. So, a bunch of information is in our show notes. We have videos of our episodes on Spotify and YouTube, as well as our social media pages. We have clips posted on there. They're not the whole episodes, but we got clips of it. So, if you want to check out the videos of these, especially on some of these episodes where we have some visuals going along with it, feel free to check them out in those spots. Leave us a review, like us, follow us, favorite us, subscribe to us. Make sure you get all the alerts when the new content comes out. It's going to come out every Sunday. It's going to be there ready for you guys in the morning as you guys wake up and get going. So hopefully you could either give it a shot on that Sunday, get yourself ready for the week, or going into your work week, whatever you're doing, you can use it for, commuting, working out, whatever you want, whatever you got going on. Hopefully it just gives you that little boost and gets you to that premier mindset as you go through your day. A lot of people could find help from this stuff. This is pretty general in a lot of ways. It's a lot of education about how we work and what we do as human beings. And I put it out like that purposely because I want this to help as many people as I can help with it. It's not a replacement, though, for therapy or medical treatment if that is what you need. This is purely educational. I just want to spread awareness and help you guys understand some things and how we work as people. And that's my main goal, putting it all out. I make it a point to try and give you guys actionable tools to find success in your life through these episodes. And it's not just random things I'm throwing at the wall hoping it works for you guys. These are all evidence-based and backed by research. So it's been proven to work and they've shown it to work, and it's backed by science that's making sure these things aren't going to be like a waste of your guys' time. So give these things a shot, see what you think, and if there's any issues or questions about like how to use them or what to do about them, or if you're having a problem you want to get more in depth about with me, I'd love to hear it from you. Just reach out, and there's a lot of different ways you could do that. So one way you could reach out is through my email, which is tmahler, last name spelled Mahler, at premierperformancereno.com. You could text or call at 775-561-0056. We have the Instagram, premier_performance_Reno. We got the Facebook page and the LinkedIn page, Premier Performance LLC, for both of those. So feel free to follow us on all those. Check us out. Get into the stuff that we're putting out there. We post content every day just to make sure that there's good stuff out there for you guys to get into. All right, let's get into our episode today. Today, what we're going to cover is a couple different topics I'll put in together because they felt like they went pretty well with each other. We're going to cover gratitude a little bit. I know we talked about that a little bit in the past, so we're going to get a little more into that and what that looks like and how you can use that. We're going to get into the idea of challenge versus threat and how that impacts us. We're also going to talk about just normalizing mental health in general, because a lot of people kind of run away from these things and avoid these things, and they don't really know what it is. So I want to kind of throw that normalization out there and hopefully help people out with that. And lastly, we'll cover a little bit on suicidal ideation, just because it's such a big problem and a tragic issue that our society faces. And we got people that get touched by this stuff all the time, and I just want to put some information out there and some resources to help people with it best I can. Our brain activity for today is to kind of get into this idea of challenge versus threat, kind of in that mindset, is from somebody called Jocko Willink. You may have heard of Jocko before, you may not have, that's totally fine. He's a great person with a lot of good stuff out there. He has his own podcast, his own content, his own books, all these good things. And he has a video out there that's called Good. And that video really is about looking at any situation that's going wrong or any challenge or anything that's popping up in life and just looking at it and saying good. And that's the activity that we're going to do today, is the good activity. Okay? The good activity is anytime something hard is coming up in your life, I want to challenge you to look at it and say good. And that's not to invalidate you and say that, it doesn't suck or it's not some hard situation or whatever it is. This is to help you look at it and try and shift that perspective a little bit and view it from a different angle so you can get to work and get something from it or deal with the problem, whatever the problem may be. So when a struggle happens, it could be like you're late to work. Okay? Look at that and say good. That could panic us, that could freak us out, and we don't want to be regularly late for work. But if we say good on that, that gives us a whole lot of options. Now I can figure out how to make up time that I may have missed. I could think about what I need to change in my morning routine to make sure I am on time. I could look at it and try and figure out if there's like a better route I could go to work that's not going to let me hit traffic as much or whatever else it is. It's just going to help us get into that mindset of, okay, now what? we often get caught up in situations where there's a problem happening and we just get stuck on it. We just beat ourselves up about it. We tell ourselves we're terrible, what's wrong with us, all these kind of things, and it doesn't really go anywhere. So this is a way to go through struggle and help it be productive, help us move forward, and I think that's going to be a really powerful thing, especially if we can start getting into the habit of doing it as often as you can. Pushing ourselves and challenging ourselves, especially when we're in the lowest moments and things are really hard, can really help us grow. We grow in any situation in life when we are uncomfortable. So when we face uncomfortable situations, we want to say good and try and kind of take it on and grow through it and see where we go to. There's a good video, like I said, on this. So if you have a chance, you could just type in Jocko Willink and good and just watch that video. It's not very long, just a couple minutes, but it can kind of give a little perspective to this and another good, some more good examples of how he is explaining using it and how he does it himself. So I think that could be really awesome to check out. But I want you guys to try it out and see what happens. Try it for like a week or two. Just see how that changes things. That's the key with anything is consistency. Any of these things I talk about, if you do it for like 1 or 2 days, that's awesome. But it's just like going to the gym for 1 or 2 days. You're not going to see all the results you want to see. You got to stay consistently with these things for a while and see what starts to build from them. So give it a chance, see what you think. If you don't like it, that's fine. Let me know if it's helpful for you. I'd love to hear. I love being connected with you guys. And we'll get more into the episode's topic and kind of get into the meat of it all. So first off, what is gratitude? Gratitude is an emotion and an attitude of appreciation for the things in one's life, often expressed towards others who have been helpful or kind. It involves acknowledging the positive aspects of one's circumstances, whether tangible or intangible, and recognizing that these blessings are often sourced from outside oneself. So it's just kind of being appreciative to different things. It could be people, it could be things in our life, whatever it is. When we have this lens or air of gratitude that we're living with and working through, things tend to go better. We have less struggles, we have less problems, we have less issues popping up in our life. Gratitude helps us in a lot of things. It can kind of be an antidote to depression and anxiety and all these kind of things, difficult moods, difficult days. And it's not saying it's going to fix all our problems and just make things not hard, but it's going to help us with things. It's really hard to have a really bad day if you're feeling super grateful. So try and get into the gratitude, try and build that muscle. And we want to really help ourselves with it because gratitude can significantly benefit our mental and physical health. It can improve relationships and it can also enhance overall well being. This is something that can be pretty encompassing in a lot of areas in our life. And if we can find a way to be grateful for these things, it can help us just squeeze more juice out of life as we go through things. It helps individuals feel more optimistic. Sometimes we have issues feeling pessimistic and being down on things and, just kind of getting stuck in these little traps that we don't think we're ever going to get out of. So sometimes we got to change that up and give us some room to move. It also helps us experience less stress and anxiety and improve sleep quality. And I'm sure there's a lot of you out there that are having issues with all three of those, if not one or two of them. So get into that stuff and see if that helps out because these things can also foster stronger social bonds and increase resilience in the face of adversity. When we're going through trouble, when we're going through struggle, it's going to help us deal with it. We're going to feel like we have more room to handle it. We're going to feel an energy and a flexibility that we never thought we had. Just keep that mindset of no one owes us anything. And whenever anyone does do something or helps you out or cut you a break, whatever it is, even if it's a super small thing, there's going to be a bunch of gratitude and appreciation that starts to pop up with it because you're just in this mindset of just acceptance and, you know, kind of growth where it's like nobody has to do anything. So if they are doing these things, they're choosing to, and that can feel really good to absorb that and take that on. Our awareness is kind of like a spotlight. What our mind is focusing on, we shine that light on those things. We're not focusing on everything all the time. Some of you may have noticed that you get focused on, difficult thoughts or struggles or troubles or things from the past or worries about the futures and what ifs and all that kind of stuff. If we can shift that awareness to focusing on gratitude, it can really build us up. Remind ourselves of the quote, where focus goes, energy flows. Whatever you're looking at, that's going to grow that thing. So if you're sitting there in the depths of something and you're just really beating yourself up and sitting in that sadness and just really struggling in it, and sometimes we just get stuck in it. And there's ways to get out if you're having that trouble, let us know. But if we just are continuously focusing on that, it's going to keep building up, it's going to keep breaking us down. We want to focus it on things that are more growth oriented, that's going to help us keep moving. We don't want to get stuck in these things that aren't helping us. We got to be mindful of what we're focusing on. We got to be aware of that brain real estate we got going on, because it can only go to a certain amount of things. We can only focus on a certain amount of things at a time. We can't do everything all at once. So let's use this space in a way that's going to help us out. Let's not just get caught up recklessly using this stuff and letting it fall on things that's not helping us and actually breaking us down. This can help a lot with intrusive thoughts as well. We try often to control them and try and make them do something, like get them gone or make them less or whatever it is. And that really often doesn't help. It actually kind of makes them worse. So we not always want to use it to try and control our thoughts too. We also want to use it to try and accept thoughts and let them kind of pass by and float by like leaves on a stream. Because if we try and control things, we end up putting a lot of energy to it. And sometimes it just gets more frustrating and more difficult, and we get more stuck on it. We want to be purposeful where we're shining that light of awareness, and we want to refocus it anytime it's drifting off to something we don't want it to focus on. Recognition's that first step. So if you see it drift into something that's not helpful and you don't want it there, just refocus it, bring it back to where you want it to go, and it's going to probably, just get easier every time you do it, and eventually it's going to just get more stuck on what you want it to focus on instead of what you don't want it to focus on. An activity that we've talked about before that goes right along with this stuff is the gratitude journal. I talked about it shortly as a brain activity, and that's something you guys can use and try out. And the reason for that is it kind of sets our lens up for how we're looking at the day, very just first thing in the morning, and that can help us, have a better day, appreciate things differently, have things not hit us as hard, a whole host of things. So the whole idea of it is trying to write down things that you are grateful for in your life. It could be things that you're thinking about, or it could just be something that you're seeing in that moment. You can just go sit outside with a journal and be grateful for the birds, grateful for the mountains, the sunshine, whatever it is. It can be really small things. It could be big things, like I'm grateful for my family, or I'm grateful for, all the people that have done things for me. But if you let your mind focus that awareness on just that gratitude to start like that, just purposely doing that, it's going to kind of start that habit going through your day, that it's going to keep doing it. Like maybe someone lets you in traffic, and normally you're frustrated with the traffic, but now today you're grateful for that person letting you in. Again, the same situation's happening, but our focus is on a different part of it now. And that's not going to beat you up as bad. You're probably not in as much as a bad mood once you get to work and all those things in between. So explore that a little bit. Get into that gratitude journal if you haven't done it before, and just try and set that mindset up of just appreciation and gratitude, because it can really build us up. And I know it sounds simple, but sometimes the simplest things work the best. So just give it a shot. Gratitude is also a really great coping strategy. When we help other people out with like contributing, we talked about that a little bit on distress tolerance. It can help us with our own lives, with our own struggles. It gets us out of our own stuff, and someone can appreciate us, just being thankful for what we did. Or we could appreciate ourselves and just feel good about what we did, where we like stepped out and helped someone out with something or did something we didn't think we could. So it can be a really helpful thing in a lot of ways. Gratitude is very powerful. It's more of a mindset than it is an actual tool, but there are little tools we could use to try and set up that mindset, such as that gratitude journal. So explore that on your own, see what you think, and just keep in mind that that gratitude and that gratefulness and appreciation can really help us appreciate and accept life and feel good about things, because life is pretty hard. We're also creating pathways in the brain to instill a new habit. Kind of like I was talking about with building that muscle, you want to keep building it up. And that's with gratitude, but that's also with the next topic we're going to get into, which is that challenge versus threat idea. We want to build ourselves up to manage these things and have that habit set up, so we don't have to consciously think about these things all day long. Our body just starts doing it for us. That's the best, when we get that muscle memory really set up and it just starts working away. So with challenge versus threat, there is a lot to look into it with it. There's some research that came out about it. I'm going to go through a quick synopsis of that so you guys get a little understanding of what this is and where this comes from, because I've talked about it a couple times. So when a stressful situation is perceived as a threat, health and well-being suffer. They have shown this in a study, and this is where it's coming from. People experience more health and well-being issues when they feel overwhelmed by stressful situations, rather than seeing them as a challenge. A new study finds. The more you're able to appraise a stressful situation as a challenge, the more likely you are to report good health and well-being. The negative health and well-being consequences of repeatedly viewing stressful situations as a threat include a higher risk of mental health problems such as depression, physical illnesses like cold and the flu, and suboptimal well-being and happiness, probably as a result of constantly feeling overwhelmed or from a suppressed immune system. So that study's out there if you want to look more into the data of it. But the biggest thing in this is it's going to change our mental health, how we're handling things, and it can even impact us so deeply as to suppress our immune system if we're constantly looking at everything as a threat. And some people out there just get caught in this mindset of just looking out for everything that could be a problem or an issue or a threat. You guys may do it yourself sometimes. You may know a coworker or a friend that does it where they're just constantly stuck on what could go wrong. Sometimes it's helpful, sometimes we need to do that. But oftentimes this breaks us down, and this kind of supports that idea that while some people believe being pessimistic is helpful because you can enjoy the good things when they come and you can be prepared for the bad things when they do show up, the other side of this is research has shown that pessimism has also led to shorter lifespans. And that may be because of this. If we're looking at everything as threats and worries and all these kind of things, and you're suppressing your immune system, there is a good chance that you might have more problems and issues, and it could shorten that lifespan. So keep that in mind. I know it sounds a little simple, but again, sometimes the simple things work the best. So try and shift that mindset. Try and focus on things as a challenge. Whenever things are popping up, whatever it is, don't look at it as a threat. Try and look at it and say good and take it on as a challenge and build yourself up around it. Don't let it break you down. So do what you can with that. We went over a couple perspective shifts with the gratitude and that challenge versus threat. I really want you guys to practice that. Just build that up, get into the habit of doing it, and see where it leads you. And now we're going to go into some things about mental health in general, just kind of taking that zoom out approach and looking at it from that 10,000 foot view of just like what this is and why we need to work on these things. So mental health refers to a person's emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It encompasses a range of factors. One of those is emotional stability, the ability to manage emotions effectively and cope with stress. Sometimes that's easy for us, sometimes that's really hard. It helps us deal with problems, it helps us deal with situations that are very difficult, it helps us deal with our emotions whenever they pop up, and we can manage them in the way we need to and not suppress them or avoid them or run from them. It also hits on cognitive functioning. That goes back to clear thinking, problem solving, decision making skills. This is going back again to that main goal of the podcast, which is the premier mindset, where if we can get this mental health set up in a really positive way, it can help us grow and really build us up. But if we don't take control of it, if we let it just kind of run wild, it can cause a lot of issues in pretty much every aspect of our life. We don't realize how important this part is until we get it set up or until we're going through something really tough. We need that distinct difference. So be aware of these things and be mindful, because if we're not taking care of that mental health, it's going to cause a lot of issues. Another thing it does is it impacts our social well-being, such as positive relationships, social support, and a sense of belonging. We can feel like we just don't fit in, that people don't want us around. We can start to isolate, all these kind of things. And another piece that goes pretty hand in hand with it is behavioral health, such as healthy habits, good sleep, nutrition, exercise, a lot of the self-care stuff. It could also be just like actions that we're taking, things that we're doing in our own life, behaviors we're taking part in, all that kind of stuff. That can lead to a lot of issues. That can lead to a lot of problems. So we got to be mindful of that as well, because I don't want you guys running through all that. Mental health is a continuum, with individuals experiencing various degrees of well-being. On one end of the spectrum, there are those that thrive and have a high level of mental health, aka the premier mindset. That's the idea, is we want to be on that end of the spectrum where everything's going well and we're really thriving. On the other end of the spectrum, that's where there is a lot of different things that can pop up, like mental health conditions such as depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, or even something as intense as schizophrenia. And it doesn't mean that we can all fall into all these categories all the time. Sometimes certain things are set up for us based on our genetics and all this kind of stuff too. There's a lot that goes into that continuum. But we got to be aware that this is a spectrum that we can fall on different sides of, and that's based on how we're taking care of ourselves, and we don't have to be stuck in a certain spot. If you're on the far end and sitting in depression or something, that does not have to be your everyday life. That doesn't have to be the only thing you do. You can get out of it, you can pull through these things, and you can get to the other side of the spectrum where things feel a whole lot better and you're actually thriving. That's why I'm putting out all this education. I want to make you guys aware of this so you can all be there. I don't want you guys stuck on the side where it comes with problems and struggles. It's just too tough. This is also why we need mental health days. We all need a break. We now all need to find time to empty that bar out so we don't get overwhelmed so quickly. That bar is something I talked about in that first episode. If you haven't seen that, going back to that could be helpful, where we talk about how we have a bar that fills up with different things in our life. And letting that really filled up and be filled up on a daily basis can just grind us down. And sometimes we need days to just empty it out or just fully reset it and then get back into things. And it's not a bad thing. More companies are taking this stuff on and including this in their policies, which is great. The hardest part sometimes is us, is we're our own obstacles and we don't want to let ourselves take it. We tell ourselves we got things to do and we got to work on stuff and we don't want to take the time we need to feel better. Be careful of that though, because if we keep pushing through things and suppressing and not taking care of things that we need to take care of, things often get worse. And I don't want you guys having more problems. So let's try and face these things and just get what we need up front. Try and treat it in a preventative way so it doesn't build up to a point where you got to do more stuff. Because the more you hold it off, the more you have to do, the more work you got to do. It just gets harder. Self-care is a huge, important piece with mental health. It's our armor that keeps our mental health strong, and it helps us get ready to handle whatever comes up. You want to check in with your own routine and see how it's going. See if there's things that you used to do that you're not doing anymore that used to help you. We often fall off of stuff, especially when things are good, because things are good. We want to keep going with things even when things are good. And if you used to do things and something changed in life and you stopped, try and get back to it again. And if stuff you're doing isn't working, change it up and see what does work. Episode 2 goes a lot into that stuff in terms of like self-care, diet, and exercise, just trying to take care of yourself and building a good routine that could help you build that armor. So explore that one and see if there's any topics in there that kind of help out and help create that for you. But explore on your own of just like a good routine that's going to help you do your thing in life, because we can't be held back by this stuff. We got to help ourselves keep going. Relationships impact mental health, and they are impacted by mental health in a lot of different ways. Relationships can improve our mental health or it can drain it. Sometimes we have people in our life that just drain us and we're exhausted all the time. Sometimes they really uplift us, build us up. They feel like they give us more energy. We feel like we can run through a wall when we're around them. Finding the right supports in life take us a long way, and we need it. And when we find the right people, we got to keep them around, because there's going to be times things go wrong. There's no relationship out there that's not going to have some issue at some point. The problem is when the issue shows up, do we run from it, avoid the situation, isolate from it? Are we going to fix the problem, work on it, figure it out, and then keep going and keep those social supports strong? We need people in our life. We can't do it all by ourselves. And when you find good people, we want to hold on to them because they're worth holding on to. It helps build us up, and at the same time, if we don't take care of our own mental health, we can push those people away too. So that's where we got to be really careful, and we want to try and take care of this stuff in a positive way and lean on these things to help us. We don't want to do it by ourselves all the time. It's too hard. We shame ourselves a lot and feel embarrassed for feeling overwhelmed because we feel like we should handle stuff. This comes from a lot of different things. It's usually a combination of like societal expectations, personal standards, and the fear of negative judgment, or even perceived like inadequacy, like feeling like you can't handle things, you're not good enough, you're doing something wrong. And just to be honest, struggling with your mental health does not mean you're doing something wrong. It's a very common thing, it's a very normal thing. And in all honesty, it happens more when people ignore it than it does just from people doing something wrong. We ignore it often because we don't want to face it and we don't want to look at it because of the fear that what if it's not where it needs to be, and what if I am struggling with it and I don't know what to do about that. So we want to jump into these things and take care of them and keep in mind that it's not bad to feel overwhelmed. We just got to get to work and get it back under control again. And if you try and pretend it's not there, if you try and hide from it, if you try and beat yourself up because you're feeling it, it's going to get more stuck and it's going to cause more problems. It's going to probably cause you to isolate, and you're just going to kind of cut people off or just kind of distance yourself and pull back from it. So keep that in mind, reflect on these things. If you catch yourself beating yourself up or feeling shame or embarrassment or any of that stuff, remind yourself to refocus that and maybe even be grateful that I'm glad I'm recognizing I'm overwhelmed right now. Now I just got to get to work. We don't want to get stuck on beating ourselves up. It does not help us. When we do get into situations where we beat ourselves up, it causes this cycle of being stuck on struggles, and it usually leads to more issues. We judge ourselves, all this kind of stuff. We pull ourselves away from people, like I was saying. And that's why we want to get into all these topics we're talking about, such as acceptance and validation, accepting ourselves, validating our own struggles, what we're going through. We don't want to resist the reality and pretend that it's not happening and ignore the fact that we're struggling. And one of the episodes I talked about before, episode 6 with distress tolerance, we want to use those kind of skills to manage those moments when we are feeling overwhelmed. Because when we are overwhelmed, it's not a bad thing. We just got to do certain things to deal with it. Just like if you're sick, it's not necessarily a bad thing. We just got to do what we got to do to take care of it now. So go back to that episode if you haven't listened to it and help yourself use some of those skills or see what skills in that could help you when you do get overwhelmed or you are feeling stuck in that situation too. But if we just let ourselves sit in it, it just kind of makes things worse. Finding love, patience, grace, and acceptance for yourself and your own struggles is a key to a path forward. We need to find room for these things. These traits, these qualities really help us grow. They help us get through struggle. They help us keep going. We can't break ourselves down. It doesn't help us learn anything. It just damages us. It just beats us up. We have to build ourselves up. And that's that challenge versus threat thing. We want to build ourselves up. We want to look for ways forward. We got to have patience. We got to have that love. We got to give ourselves room, that grace, and just acceptance that there's nothing wrong with you, because there's not. There's nothing broken. We're just going through it, and we all do it. It's a very normal thing. It's not a bad thing to be going through something like this. We just got to help ourselves through it. The best way to keep this in mind is to treat yourself as you would treat a friend. It's very common for people to treat friends a whole lot better than they treat themselves. We make room for friends and understand that, yeah, that's okay. They can struggle. They can go through it. I'd be there for them. We don't make the same room for ourselves. So we want to ask ourselves, is this what I would say to a friend? Is this what I would tell my best friend if they're going through this exact same situation? Because if not, we want to change that up, and you might find it a whole lot easier to refocus on that acceptance and kindness and just love for yourself to help yourself through whatever you're going through. Because things are going to come up. When we do just beat ourselves up, we tell ourselves that there's something wrong with us, that this is something I should handle, that I don't deserve it, whatever it may be. There's 1,000 different things that can come up. But we find so much space and room and forgiveness and grace and, patience for friends because we care about them and love them. We need that same love and care for ourselves. And the only way to build it is to practice it. It doesn't show up with friends overnight when we first meet them. It shows up after time, over situations, and after time of bonding with each other and all these kind of things too. So we want to build this up. We want to help ourselves with it. We just got to treat ourselves like we treat a friend. So keep reminding yourself of that. Almost keep it as a mantra if you need to. And remind yourself when you're in that struggle, if you can treat yourself like a friend, you're going to help yourself through it a whole lot better. A strong mental health leads to peak performance. I've seen so many athletes and business professionals struggle with their careers and what they got going on because they're not taking care of their mental health. And that was a huge motivating factor for me to get into a lot of this stuff myself, because I didn't want to see people losing out on things because of their own struggles. Mental health is crucial for peak performance because it fosters focus, motivation, resilience, the ability to manage stress, which all ultimately leads to enhanced cognitive functioning and overall well-being, whether that is in sports, academics, or work, or anything in between, relationships, whatever. It's going to set us up for success. It's not going to give us success, but it's going to give us the tools to reach success, because the path to success in anything you're doing is hard. It's going to face, really tough situations. You're going to face moments where your ego wants to come up and tell you that you're perfectly fine and you're right and everyone else is wrong. You're going to have struggles, trying to have humility or humble yourself or go through change or transition. So we want to really build all of this up and keep practicing these things so that that peak performance becomes like a normal part of our everyday life. And then you'll see the success just start to skyrocket. That's that key of the premier mindset. We set ourselves up to launch, and then everything starts lining up, and then we launch, we go out, we go do all the awesome stuff, feel really happy and excited about it, and then hopefully you share the message of what you've learned and what you've gotten from these things with others so they can go do it themselves. We want to just kind of be that drop in the pond that leads to all those ripple effects where everyone else is getting hit by stuff and they're all building themselves up too. We want to normalize our struggles, and we want to recognize what is normal, because we often see everyone wearing a mask. A lot of people try and hide things. If we normalize struggles, we realize we're not alone. Sometimes in struggle, the best thing we can hear are the words "me too." Just someone else being there or going through it, or just kind of sitting in that just difficult moment with us. We don't want to be there by ourselves, and we need people to lean on. We tend to be kinder to ourselves. We can get to acceptance quicker, which also helps us get to work when we normalize these things, because we feel like other people are going through it. And it's just a part of the process. It's just part of life. It doesn't beat us up as much, and we're not resisting it as much. It's easier to accept. Once we get to that acceptance, we reduce that pain. It helps us keep going. Everyone is hiding their struggles. There's a lot of people out there that struggle. That's why I go over some of these numbers in all these episodes about how many people struggle with this, because I want to normalize it for you guys. And I see how many people out there hide this stuff, because I see people, pretty much every day, and they come in and tell me that they don't show these things to anyone else, and that I'm the only person in their whole life that knows anything about any of it. And the funny thing about all of it is that all of the time people come in with the same struggles. And the reason I say it's funny is because the way I bring it up when these things are popping up for people, they think I can like read their mind, and I just have this like crazy insight into things. And I don't. The key to it is just everybody's going through very similar things. We just don't like to talk about it. So we hold it all into ourselves. We think we're the only one going through it. No one else has felt this before. It just feels like us. And that creates more and more shame, more and more embarrassment, all those kind of things, judgments. We hold it all back. We hide it. We got to put ourselves out there. We got to take that mask off, and we got to just own these things and just be genuine, because other people will see it and they'll get uplifted by it, and it's going to feel a whole lot better for you. It's going to give you that freedom. We are all going through different situations. There are similarities and similar struggles. The situations themselves are the things that are different, but they come with similar factors, which is why a lot of the struggles end up being pretty similar, even if the context is a little different. We just tend to put that mask on and hide it, and we want others to see us in certain lights, whether it's strong or put together or ambitious or successful or anything else. And in all honesty, that's great, but being genuine and vulnerable and real is going to go further in your life. We can try and put an image out there for people to accept, and sometimes that sets us up for things. Sometimes that can give us good stuff. Sometimes that's just, a ball and chain that gets stuck to us, that we feel weighed down by, because we feel like we can't outrun this thing and we can't just be ourselves. So try and let that wall down. Try and let yourself just be you. Don't hide from these things. You might find a whole lot of awesome stuff comes from it. Another thing I want to go over real quick is just the fact that there is no such thing as normal. We tend to compare these things to societal norms, and that's where we get the idea of normal from, but there is no such thing as normal. There's no right way to live life. The whole goal is just to have fun and help yourself through struggles without getting stuck on them. There's too much going on in life. There's a lot happening. We can all have different goals and passions and pursuits and all that good stuff. But if we don't have fun and we don't help ourselves through the struggles, none of that's really going to matter. We're going to be grinding every day and pulling ourselves through. Before we know it, we're going to be laying in that deathbed asking ourselves where the last 50 years went. So help yourself get to being you. Let yourself open up. Let yourself be vulnerable. Let yourself be genuine. Have fun. Don't get caught up in the work. Don't get caught up on the struggles. And help yourself through the struggles when they're there, whether that be by using skills or working with a therapist or leaning on a friend or anything in between. We want to help you guys through these things. We don't want it to build up, because if it does build up, if we do sit in it long enough, often it leads to this next topic, which is suicidal ideation. So suicidal ideation is something that can happen a lot, and really what it is just thoughts that you don't want to be alive anymore. And there's a lot of different levels to it. It could be a passing thought of, I just don't want to wake up, or I just wish it would all stop. I'm sure most of you have had those thoughts before. They're very common. They happen all the time. But that spectrum can go all the way to the other side, which is also like suicide attempts, where we're trying to kill ourselves. We're trying to, kind of get rid of our own existence and all these kind of things. So there is a lot in there, and there's a lot of different levels to it. We want to make sure to take care of things based on where that level is. If we're at that point of like making attempts, we got to keep you safe. We got to do what we got to do. There's a lot of great resources we can use. If it is a passing thought, it's not a necessarily bad thing. That's a normal thing. It happens all the time, a whole lot more than you think. We just got to deal with it and take care of it. Because usually the suicidal ideation, when it pops up, is in response to pain of some sort. It's not always pain. It's not always one type of pain, but it's usually connected to something. The whole idea of suicidal ideation is something hurts, it's feeling bad, whatever it may be, a situation, something coming up, it's how you feel about yourself, something that happened before, whatever, and you want to get out of pain. So the brain gets into this place of almost like rage quitting. Just like with like a video game, if you're getting really pissed off, you just turn it off, you storm off, you don't want to keep playing it. It's kind of the same thing. Your brain's just getting to that point of wanting to rage quit. It just wants to turn it off and just get it to stop. It's just not thinking through, like, what is that going to mean? What is that going to do? It's a very impulsive, reactive thing, usually to pain. This is why with a lot of suicide prevention, it's a lot of just buying time. It's not so much that we got to, fix something right here in the moment. We just got to give enough time so we don't make an impulsive decision. Usually with that, we end up making better decisions and things go well, and we end up taking care of ourselves and giving ourselves what we need. It can happen to anyone. And if we don't buy that time, that's where it starts to get really scary, because most of the time it is impulsive. This is what they've shown with like the Golden Gate Bridge, where they put nets by it. The reason for the nets is because it buys people time. Because you could essentially jump, hit the net, and then jump off the net. But what they've found is the second people jump, they usually regret it. Because they want to get out of pain, yes, but then they realize that they made a decision that isn't the actual decision they wanted to make. And that's why we need to buy that time, and that's why those nets have helped, is it helps let people almost have like a second thought of, are you sure you want to do this? And 99% of the time, the answer is no, we don't want to do that. And that's why if we can help people through that pain when they're in the middle of it, just kind of sit with them there, it can really help them through these things. And sometimes, we can save some lives, and that can be pretty amazing. This stuff is often usually connected to either medical or mental health diagnoses, and the idea of that is connecting back to that pain. Suicidal ideation can be really common, whether we have like a terminal illness, or if we have chronic pain of some sort where it feels like there's no escape and we're stuck in these things, and this is just kind of what we're dealing with. It can also usually be connected to some mental health diagnosis if we have something going on, like we're stuck in depression for a long period of time, or anxiety, or maybe PTSD, where we have reoccurring trauma responses. All this kind of stuff can really beat us up and cause a lot of pain, a lot of, you know, existential pain. And sometimes we get stuck in these mindsets trying to find ways out of it, and that's where the suicidal ideation can come in and can really cause a lot of damage. So we got to be aware of it and not let these things build up. We want to take care of things if stuff is going on, and there are options. You may not have tried everything. We don't want to get caught up thinking that there's no way out. There's probably some way out. We just got to look around and take some time. Sometimes we need to buy time. It's not always connected with self-harm. I like to bring this up because sometimes people freak out when they see self-harm and think that they're trying to kill themselves and that's what this is. That's not always what self-harm is. Sometimes self-harm is just a coping skill that people are trying to manage feelings of just intense emotion or intense pain, whatever it is. And there's endorphin releases that come through self-harm that can make it feel better for a quick moment until we have to deal with all the problems from the self-harm that we're doing. It's not a great coping skill. It's not super effective, but it doesn't always mean that there is suicidal ideation. Sometimes people are just in pain and they're trying random things to try and get out of it. And if we can shift that strategy to a different strategy, it's going to probably work a whole lot better. If you are struggling with any of this stuff, if you've had suicidal ideation, it's not bad. It's normal. It's common. It happens all the time. But we want to jump on it and take care of it. We don't want to let it build up and let anything happen to any of you guys. Life is hard, and I don't want you guys going through it and feeling like you have no way out. I want it to get easier. That's my main goal of this stuff. So there's a lot of things we can use. They have a number that you can reach out to for just support. It's the crisis hotline. You can reach out to 24/7, and you can reach them just by texting or calling 988. The reason they did that is they wanted something super simple, just like 911, that you could reach out to and get that support that's easy to remember. So you could text or call and just have somebody there that you can talk through things with and just have as like a support you can lean on, even if you feel like you don't have anyone in your life you can lean on. But even if you feel like you don't have anyone in your life you can lean on, try and lean on me a little bit. I want to be here for you guys. I want to be a resource. And even if I can't help a whole bunch myself, I can at least point you in some directions or let you know what you can go do for yourself. I don't want you guys sitting with this stuff by yourself. Let me know if I can help. There are also other resources we can use, such as inpatient facilities or residential facilities. These can help out with just buying us time and keeping us safe for however long we need to until whatever it is passes or we deal with the situation or just look at it a little bit differently. There's also a lot of outpatient things you can use. So inpatient and outpatient, the difference is inpatient, you stay there, you live there for however long, could be a couple days, could be a month or two, could be longer. Outpatient, you go there to get your services and you go back home at the end of the day. So you could do outpatient programs for like 8 hours a day. You could just do like a 1 hour therapy session one day a week, and that's still outpatient. There's a lot of different things you can use. There's a lot of options. There's a lot of resources. I want you guys to take advantage of these things and see what you can get from it, and not let this stuff build up on you and just sit in silence and pain. That's not going to help. If you need help, get help, please. The world is not a better place without you. It's not. We can tell ourselves that things would be better or everyone else would be better off if we're not around, and that's just not true. And I'm going to keep saying this because I believe it to the core of me. You guys are worth being here, and I want you guys here, and we all have something to add to this world. We all have a verse to write in this story. But we need to let her write our story. We need to let ourselves put our words out there and be ourselves and get through this pain and figure things out. And you may see as you get past this stuff and get down the line that you're really glad you helped yourself through it, and that you can actually show other people and be that light for people that they can get through it too. This stuff happens a lot. There's nothing to be ashamed of. The tragedy is when we don't take care of it and we let it sit in the background until something happens. Jump on it, take care of it. Don't let the suicidal ideation build up on you. Don't let yourself hurt yourself. Go get what you need. If you have questions about any of that, let me know. If you want to talk about it more with me, let me know. I'm here for you guys, even if you want to do it anonymously. I just want to help. You just got to let me sometimes. With all of this stuff, recognition is the first step. When we recognize the struggles, when we recognize our thought patterns, recognize how we're looking at the world, all these kind of things, we can start to see different things and how they're playing out. We want to recognize first, and then we can do something about it. If you're seeing a problem, if you're seeing an issue, let's jump on it. Let's take care of it. Don't just get stuck on it. Don't try and bury it. Don't try and suppress it. Once you see it, if you don't know what to do, that's a perfect time to reach out, whether it's to me or to a friend or someone else. We can get things better. We just got to explore our options. If this was helpful for you, feel free to share it with people. I want to get this out there for as many people as I can because I want to spread this awareness and this education, even if you're just kind of explaining the episode yourself. That's totally fine. If you did get something good from it, though, it would be awesome if you could leave us a review or even just, give us some feedback of what could be better or what we could work on or what was helpful, because I want to make this as beneficial as I can. The feedback from you guys is going to help me more than anything else. So let me know what's working. Let me know what's not. Leave reviews. All that stuff is going to help us just get this stuff out there, and, share the episodes. Put them out there for people you think is going to get some help from it. Because I want people getting this information. I don't want to gatekeep it. I don't want to keep any of this stuff hidden. I want to get this out there to as many people as I can. I make it a point to give you guys actionable tools to find success in your life. And I want to know what works. If these things are helping you and changing things in your life and leading to a better life, I would love to hear that. If you're struggling with things, you don't know how to use this stuff, or maybe it's not working, I want to hear about that too, because I'd love to help you work on it and get it situated in a way that's going to help you out. My whole goal here is just to be a resource and help. So don't be afraid to use it. And if you need to reach out in any way, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. You can email me through my email, tmahler@premierperformancereno.com. Last name spelled Mahler. You could also text or call at 775-561-0056. We have our Instagram, premier_performance_Reno. And then we have our Facebook page and our LinkedIn page, Premier Performance LLC, for both of those. We put a lot of content, but you can reach us through all of those. And if you reach out and you don't hear anything back, reach out again. You will not annoy me. You'll not bother me. I just want to make sure I get back to you guys, because sometimes things get lost in the mix, and I just want to make sure that doesn't happen. So if you feel like you're not getting a response or you're not getting what you need, reach out again. Let me know, or even use one of these different methods. I want to help you guys out. I want to be there for you. Next week, we're going to get into some stuff about drugs and addiction, substance use in general, and just what that looks like, how that hits us, and what we can do about it. There's a lot of stuff in that, and that's one of those topics I'm really passionate about because of how we handle things and how I, hope we handle things in the near future. Because I think it could be pretty beneficial for a lot of people if we change up our strategies of how we do with this stuff and how we understand this stuff too. So we'll get super deep into that, see if we can get some cool things from it. And if there's anything that you guys want to have covered in future episodes, let me know. I'd love to hear about that stuff too. I'm always down to change things up and go into things that you guys want more information on. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a great week. Go optimize your performance. Go find that premier mindset and see how it helps you. Build on these things. Go listen to past episodes if you haven't heard them, or re-listen to them if they are helpful, and see if you can pull more things from them. And if there's more I can do, you just let me know. Otherwise, you guys go be the best you can be. I hope you have a great time, a wonderful time, and a lot of fun. And if there's anything else I can do, just say the word. Otherwise, I'll see you next week.